What's up, guys? We are back with episode 75 of the Super Deformed Gamescast. 25 more episodes until 100. And on episode 100, excuse me, we're going to give something away. Very cool. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Patreon, fun and
exactly. Yeah,
John's virginity
goes live. If you guys want us to follow you on Twitter, or if you ever expect to fucking game with us ever, then you're going to want to subscribe to our Patreon because
also we'll send you framed tweets.
Yeah. I'm actually the $50 Patreon tier will be a framed picture of my chest hair.
Oh no!
Is that something that
topically relevant?
If that is something that anybody's interested in, I am more than happy to oblige. Hold on, let me make sure that I retweet this out. Because I want people to join us in chat. And don't forget, if you retweeted what the the official account put out this morning, at the end of the podcast, we're going to give away $40 in store credit, and you've still got time to go retweet that if you want. And but don't forget, you have to subscribe to the channel, and I will know if you have subscribed because I will check. So anyway, guys, what's going on? It's been an interesting week. We have actually, I want to Jay here is going to be filling in for Jeff for a few weeks while Jeff's schedule is in flux because hockey is more important than hanging out with your boys and talking about video games, apparently. So
What a jerk.
I know, what a dick. I can't believe Jeff.
I'll be here to talk about the games.
He is shit taste Jeff, after all.
I mean, hockey's cool, but I'm here.
Well, we really appreciate
Hockey is cool, but Sneak King is better.
Sneak King.
Yeah, Sneak King is better. I'll admit that.
All right, so guys, it's been an interesting week. There's some pretty big stories that hit, but I know exactly. Let me silence my phone there. I know exactly what Brandon wants to talk about. I know exactly what JT wants to talk about. I know what all you motherfuckers want to talk about. So something that I have not played yet, as just a combination of shitty computer circumstances and time. But Brandon, why don't you lead us all in a group discussion about Battlegrounds, or as I like to call it, Giant Underwear Crotch Simulator. Let's talk about it.
We decided to roll out without any pants.
Hashtag no pants crew.
For context.
All right, so for anybody who is listening, we've got people pouring in now. For anybody who is not familiar with what Battlegrounds is all about, who wants to explain the concept behind Battlegrounds?
I did it last
Who wants to
time,
take that
so
on?
JT can do it this week.
Yeah, I'll pass.
So it's basically like a battle royale. So everybody loads into the match, and you have this lobby where there's just like people yelling, like rap music playing, like it's just a big clusterfuck of everybody loading
100
in.
players.
Yeah, about 100 players all in the same place. So not only are there just like people going crazy left and right, it's like all directional audio, but the frame rate tanks because like there's just like way too much people all in one place. So
apparently, I read they put a forum post out that they optimized the player models so that apparently the frame rate won't drop like in half.
Good for the lobby, the thing that you're in for 60 seconds. Anyways, so after that timer is up, everybody gets teleported to a plane that flies in to an island from a random direction. And if you're playing in a group, you can view the same map and you can pick out where you want to drop at, and you can both drop at the same place. You can drop separate places and kind of team up. But you drop out of the plane and it's a battle to the death, kind of like Hunger Games or Battle Royale, anything that you're familiar with. There's loot drops and houses and stuff, and so it's like last man standing. So if you're playing in squads, it's last squad standing, and there's just like a whole lot of strategy that goes on. It's a very simple concept, but it gets pretty deep. It's
rooted in military shooter, like military simulation, like DayZ and Arma.
Yeah, it feels like a light Arma. Kind of.
Yeah. It feels more like Arma than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to point out something that somebody in chat just said. I've not seen Pamela Den in chat yet, but she says, "I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't get the notification." As long as you're here, we don't care. We don't care if you're late. You can be fashionably late. You can be as late as you want, as long as you're here and having a good time with us. We don't care. But welcome to the show, Pamela. I have not seen you. Maybe you know what? With my luck, she's probably been watching since like day 5. And this is the first time she's in chat. She's like, but I've been watching the whole time. But all that's not the case, but we are glad you're here. So I want to my first experience with Battlegrounds, my only experience with Battlegrounds, is I was trying to play with these guys, and I was having some severe computer issues, which apparently are fixed now. I completely wiped my computer, and everything's running great now. But my experience was getting stuck on the character creation screen, looking at a naked man in his underwear with this huge bulge, and so I was like, the bulges are fucking ridiculous.
They put effort into modeling.
They really did. In fact, there were more. I feel like there was more thoughts put into the bulges in the game than there were anything else about those characters' anatomies, right? So my only experience, and then like the game just fucking crashed on me, and it was stuck. But apparently, I was in the game. I was in the game, but I couldn't.
Oh, you were in the game, all right.
I was in the game, and Brandon
it automatically parachuted you out at the farthest point in the island that it could.
Yeah, so all of the AFKs you just saw parachute all down at the same time. It was just like bizarre, like to see this slowly falling. There's John's character, fuckwit or something. What
fuck chop?
Fuck chop. Yeah.
Long walk to the beach and look at the tits.
so like he drifted down and like all the AFKs were getting picked off, but John didn't. He landed like within like this complex or something. And so
I'm just this lone man
Brandon,
with a huge dick standing in his underwear in the middle of a building stain.
Exactly. You're just standing there, and Brandon's off looting. He's like, "Yo, we need to get in the circle." And
because we landed with you way outside of the circle.
Right. Yeah. So like we're trying to actually play the game, but I'm like, wait, guys, we gotta send John's character off in the right way. So I had a crossbow. And the other two, they had like shotguns or whatever.
I had an AK-47.
Yeah, we rolled up on him. I zoomed in on his head and send him off. And then the other two finished him on the ground.
That's absurd. So considering I was a naked man in my underwear, and you said the other two finished me off on the ground, that really is not a ringing endorsement from what I had in mind. I will say that me jumping out of an airplane and then standing in the middle of an empty building in my underwear with a huge bulge and an AK-47 is basically another day at the office for me. It's like a perfect recreation of my everyday life, which is why I really, really appreciate Battlegrounds for its realism.
So in terms of like real experiences, though, Brandon and
JT's like, we really need to stop talking about this.
Brandon and I
and Gabe.
And Gabe, yeah.
I got to tell the story about the Brad's. Did we tell the story about Brad's story?
No. Yeah. We need to talk about Brad's.
It's very unfortunate that Gabe can't be with us right now to tell the story.
So Brad's Star is kind of the thing that started this whole thing off, like with the Battlegrounds obsession in SCGC lately. So what do? We joined a group for the first time.
Yeah, it was
All
JT,
together.
myself, and Gabe, and we clicked the auto matchmaking so that it'll put a random person in for your fourth member. So we got this guy named Brad Star, and he jumped out at the first opportunity available to him.
Yeah.
As soon as the plane crossed over the island, he jumped on the coast, and he was like, "All right."
And we're like waiting until we
waited till about like pretty much the end of the island, because whatever. So we get there, and we pretty much just leave him for dead. Like we figure he's just on his own; he'll die before like anything happens. Anyway, like maybe 20 minutes go by. We're down to like maybe 50 people left in the match, and he's still like outside of the circle at the other corner of the map, just doing his own thing. And as the circle starts to close, like as he needs to get moving, he just starts barreling towards us because we're checking the mini map. And like somehow he found a vehicle, and he actually like jets towards the other three of us. And we were just looting this little village, and he finally gets to us. And we're like, "Oh man, he finally reached us," because we just thought he was gonna die outside the circle or some shit. And
because he like came over the mic. He's like, "Yo, anybody got a mic?"
Yeah, we did.
We're all like in Discord, and we're
what
like,
did he sound like? Did he have like an accent?
He was a normal guy, like probably like a 20-year-old dude. Just
okay.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, so he gets to this village, and we had cleared it out. Like, we thought it was all safe or whatever. And we were actually getting ready to leave the village. We were just, like, ready to head out. And then he was looting some of the buildings. And he gets killed by, like, some random dude who just happened to be camping in one of the houses. Maybe he went in there after we already cleared the buildings out or whatever. But anyway, so Brad Star dies instantly. And we decide to turn around and go back to the village to avenge him because, he made all that effort to cross the map and get to us.
Yeah, he came flying in like a bat out of hell. Like that's the least we could do. He was like either knight in shining armor with this big old jeep and everything, and then we
So
had
there was only like 5 houses in the village, so it was pretty obvious which one that he died in. Because also we could see his player icon, like his corpse. And so I go into the house. Gabe and I go into the house, and Gabe gets lit up instantly. Like somehow I don't know, like Gabe just was in a bad place, a bad time. And I kill one guy. I kill one guy, I believe. No, I kill 2. Yeah, no, I kill the guy that Gabe gets killed by, and then I go upstairs, and there's another guy camping up there, and I kill him. And then another guy, the third member of their squad, comes up the stairs and downs me, because the game has like a Gears of War style down but not out.
Okay,
Where you can go up and revive your teammates.
Revive me.
Yeah, exactly. So I was in the down state upstairs in this building by myself, and this other guy is coming up the stairs with a shotgun to finish me off. And fucking out of nowhere, he gets sniped through a window, and it's JT saving my ass. Like a house away.
I'm in the adjacent house, and I shoot through this window. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try. And like as the moment that I start shooting, like dude comes up, and I just like boom, like the window
I
crashes.
saw my blade flash before my eyes as he climbs up the stairs with a shotgun pointed directly at me, and JT takes the shot like at the perfect time.
Yep. And then I go over there and
It's good times, man. Every match of that game has a story to tell.
It is. It's like there's always a unique situation, like people drop into different places and you have to like think on the fly, and it's all strategy and it's all like improvising, like, oh crap,
tactics. It's all survival tactics.
Yeah. All right, so look, as somebody who has not played it yet, I'm gonna give it a shot tonight.
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, and you haven't played it either. Are there gear stats in this game, or can I just run around the entire time in my underwear? Because that's really all I want.
I mean, there's body armor.
But does the body armor make any kind of noticeable difference as far as like how many shots it takes to actually kill somebody?
Yes.
Oh, it does. Okay, damn it.
I mean, it's a survival game. Like it tries to emphasize realism.
However, you can put body armor and a helmet and everything else
over
on
your naked body. Yes.
But
you can still run around in your underwear with a police vest and a motorcycle helmet.
That's the obvious choice then.
That's what I do.
The question
fingerless
is,
gloves and gunners.
The real question is, after this show, are we going to play?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to hop on and I'm going to play Battlegrounds for the first time.
Maddie was beasting last night. Like
I went crazy.
And like I was.
This is all you guys have been talking about. Like I want to point out that
basically, dude, I got everyone hooked on it from last week.
These guys have been talking about in the DMs.
We went all over the map. We went all over the map, and I was like kind of like leading him around, and like I was like the decoy. There was this one instance where I was on the ground, and there's this guy that we knew was in the roof. We had been watching him, and so we both roll up to this house, and I'm like, I'm gonna go up this hill. I'm gonna like take off. Dude starts shooting at me. Matt runs up through the house and like shotguns the dude in the face, and I'm just like, holy crap! I have like a sliver of health left. And
see, this is exactly what's been happening in the SDGC DMs all week. Is like I'll jump in the DMs and I'll be like, guys, Edith Finch is amazing, and everybody's like, that's great, dude. Fucking Battlegrounds is my shit, though. I don't want to hear about that fucking Edith Finch.
I mean, Battlegrounds taking the world by storm right now. It's like
it got you to stop playing Overwatch for more than 24 hours.
It did. It got me to stop playing Overwatch, and it still did. I was playing Battlegrounds last night. I'm gonna play it when we're done with the podcast.
So I guess essentially Battlegrounds is kind of like a one-round DayZ. You don't like log off and all your stuff's there. Like
that's the best way to describe it. It's one-round DayZ without zombies.
And 100 people think it reminds me of Mag, but it actually works.
The question is, will it come to consoles before DayZ?
Oh, absolutely. Everything.
Yeah, I think they've already said there's a console version coming out this year.
Is it?
I don't see it coming this year.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think is going to come out first? Because this was brought up over the past week. John brought it up. Is Below, Cuphead, or DayZ going to hit Xbox first?
Cuphead.
Which one?
Yeah. It's sure as hell ain't going to be Below because I don't think Below is coming out.
Oh, guys, I know this is a side note. I went to GameStop today, and some guy walked in there. He was like, "Has Deep Down come out yet?"
What
even?
You should have just handed him a copy of Dark Souls.
Not a real game.
Yeah, Deep Down, and Dreams and Below are 3 games that will never come out.
Exactly.
Those games will never see the light of day. Now, as far as Battlegrounds goes, that's coming to consoles, right? Like there are
That's what they
consoles.
say.
Okay, that's what they say. Whether or not that happens.
I mean,
but this game is
it barely runs on PC at the moment. Like they have a lot of work to do.
And that actually that brings up something that Mitty in chat said about 15 minutes ago. And I meant to address it, but we got deep into the shit. Is that Mitty asked, she says, I wish I had a better PC so I could run Battlegrounds. I wasn't able to run it because my PC was having issues that required me to wipe it. But I get the feeling that you could run this game on a fucking potato.
No, it's Unreal Engine 4 and it's badly optimized.
Really? Because the game looks like shit. It doesn't look like it's
exactly.
very
Welcome to
labor intensive at all.
And Arma likes.
Yeah, and early access.
Yeah.
It is one of the fuggliest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
It's not a good looking game, and you can't run it on basically anything above like medium settings. So.
You know what? I am actually impressed with the game coming from stuff like DayZ and H1Z1.
It does look better than DayZ.
Yeah.
Pamela Den in chat asks, who likes
It does
Pokemon?
look way better than H1Z1 too. Yeah.
Hold on. Pamela Den in chat asks, who likes Pokemon and Star Wars? Well, Pamela, if you can't see it, but this entire room is a shrine to Star Wars. So, I mean, you're coming on to SDGC and asking who likes Star Wars. I mean, it's kind of a
I like
crazy.
Star Wars
like
pretty good.
Yeah, Mega Man is my favorite Star Wars character.
I like the prequel trilogy better.
I'm a
Silence.
I know. I was like, I had to take a minute to see if you're serious. And
No, the best Star Wars was the Clone Wars cartoon done by the Samurai Jack guys.
I am a huge fan of Spock.
No.
Spock is my favorite.
I liked
Star
that
Wars
one
character.
scene where Captain Picard was like, to infinity and beyond.
Oh no.
I was a big fan of the part where Dumbledore was like, use the Force, Harry.
Oh no. We're starting this.
You're a Harry.
Okay, so I kind of want to move away from Battlegrounds a little bit, and I want to talk about something that has been, I don't know, I wouldn't say controversial, but definitely hit to mixed reviews. Is Prey.
Great game.
I know we've got.
I've heard you could beat it in 20 minutes.
I
yeah,
gave it
if
4
you're
out of
glitching,
10, so I'm not buying it.
So aside from the fact that apparently nobody is buying Prey, we do have some people in chat who are.
I only buy IGN 6 out of 10s or higher.
There are people here in chat, Jez Corden being among them, who are here with their knives out to defend Prey. Should I utter one?
No, that
negative
IGN
word about
thing
it?
is total BS. Like, come on. Like, they have rated games that are more broken than Prey higher. Like Fallout 4, for example, on launch. Like, they gave
The
that.
same guy reviewed both. And
Talk about
he
Dan Stevens- Dan
opted
Stevens.
for
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just ridiculous. Prey is like leaps and bounds better designed than Fallout 4 if we're going to compare those. But I mean, it's just mind-boggling that they would do something like that. It's infuriating.
So I'm going to tweet it that we're talking about Prey right now. My thing is that do I think it's ridiculous? Yes. Because the entire review goes off and on about. I mean, it sounds incredibly positive, and then he says, "Well, I lost all my save data, so I'm rating it a 4." I don't think that's fair.
That's like the Football Manager review from like forever ago.
But I mean, it also speaks, and we've talked about this before. It speaks to the futility of assigning an arbitrary number to a game, right? Like that. I've always hated that practice, which is why on our website we use stars as opposed to numbers, and I don't even like that. But we have to do something because at this point people expect that.
Yeah.
But I saw people get upset about it, and what's interesting is that they're different. Like at the end of the review, they say, "Well, we are going to." Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that for a minute. At the end of the review, the IGN review, they said, "Well, we're going to review the PS4 and Xbox One version separately and assign them a different score." And I'm like, "Well, why not just wait until you play those versions?" Because I don't think the game's all that great at all. Like, I don't care for it one bit. But
I disagree.
I certainly wouldn't. Well, let's talk about that. So I fired up Prey, and the beginning, like the first 30 minutes of the game is brilliant. You get a big twist within the first half an hour, and I was really intrigued, really interested. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'm on board with this. This is I love science fiction drama, and I love science fiction, like, mystery and horror. So I was all about this.
I mean, you liked Soma, right?
I love Soma. Soma was one of my favorite games when it released, and it was just what a great fucking horror game that was.
I agree. The start of the game is pretty brilliant, and it makes you, yeah.
But then you pick up that fucking wrench, and everything goes downhill from there. Because the combat in this game is BioShock combat from 2007, and BioShock combat was not great in 2007. And I mean, and this is one thing that I think almost everybody who has played the game, even guys like Rand, our friend Rand, who really enjoys the game, not a fan of the combat. It dragged the entire experience down for him, and it was so bad for me that I just didn't want to play anymore. I got about 5 hours into the game. I made it past the morgue, but I spent a lot of time just wandering around and poking and stuff.
That feeling that you felt in the first 30 minutes that you were like, wow, this is so cool. There's more moments like that. That's why I say this game is just a masterclass in design, because there's an entire like space station to explore, and the way everything is interconnected, it's like what was the term? It's like a
Metroidvania,
like a bio
Metroidvania shock or something like that.
Yeah. Something that was swimming around on Twitter.
Yeah,
I love that
term.
I love that though. It's that's exactly what it is. I mean, the sense of like exploration, and like you get around to like some place that you're like, oh, that's how you get in there, like, because it's like the Metroidvania kind of like, oh, you have this tool now that you can unlock another area. It's that, but it's in a sci-fi space station setting, and the things that like, it's a slow burner. I will give you that. Like
System Shock 3.
See, that's the thing. Brandon hit the nail on the head, right? Like,
you just described System Shock.
Everybody is making the comparison to BioShock, and I don't see it. I don't get the BioShock connection at all. Aside from the fact that you've got a fucking wrench.
System Shock is older than most of the people.
It's System Shock. It is a System Shock. I would describe this game as like.
I mean, well, hold on. You have to remember that people forgot that System Shock even existed when BioShock came out, and that was 10 years ago. So.
Okay, well, all right. So for anybody who has played, and it sounds like JT, you made it much farther than I am, and anybody else who's played this, feel free to jump in. But I have seen multiple reviews say, okay, well, you can just, you can stealth your way past all the mimics, and mimics suck, by the way. With the controls are garbage, and you're slow.
My advice to anybody struggling with the controls on PS4 is turn your sensitivity up.
I have.
It helps.
I have, but like I don't think there's any happy medium, because when I turn my sensitivity up, it's too sensitive. I'm like, oh shit! Like I breathe on the fucking control, I breathe on the fucking joystick, and Morgan Hughes starts looking around like a fucking. But what is up with the stealth in the game? Because I have seen multiple reviews say, well, you can just stealth your way past the mimics, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I have tried that, and it does not work. So maybe I just suck at stealth. But is stealth really a viable option in this game? Because I don't see it.
I think so, yeah. There's been certain points. It's mostly with the bigger enemies, like the phantoms and stuff. Like It's so much easier to get by them. Mimics is more like once you get a certain item, you can identify like a hiding mimic very easily.
Yeah, you can scan the room for them.
Yeah, and it's less about like sneaking by them and more about like getting after them without them changing and just smacking with your wrench, and they're dead instantly. Like I haven't found a viable way to sneak by the mimics. And actually, a better way to deal with them is you just pick something up and chuck it at them, and it kills them immediately.
Or you turn into something that looks like them, and you just bounce around.
You mean like is that like the video game equivalent of like putting a bush in front of yourself and like edging to the right a little bit, then stopping, and then edging to the left a little bit and stopping? Is that what we're talking about? Because that sounds fucking dumb.
That sounds like the last chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes, it does. That's absolutely what it sounds like. So like, here's the other thing, right? Like, the minute I pulled out my 9mm and started trying to shoot a mimic, I was like, no, this is fucking terrible.
Like Resident Evil 7 terrible?
Resident Evil 7 is not terrible.
No, I mean like the first-person combat, not. Really.
I would like to have the first-person combat of Resident Evil 7 in Prey, like, because I agree the aiming is kind of stiff. And
I don't even,
like, there's no like way to to like aim. Like you press L2, your sensitivity goes down a little bit, and you can fine tune your aim on console. It needs something like that because you press R3 to like zoom in, and it just like it keeps the same sensitivity. So it's hard to
it's really wonky.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's one of my issues, man. Is that like is something you just said? Is that the combat in Prey? It's not even that I don't like the way it controls. I don't like the way it feels. There's no like when you run up and you smack a mimic with a wrench, right? Like take Doom for example. When you go up and you do those really gory kills, you can feel it, right? Like you can feel Doom guy, crushing a fucking demon's head in. Like you get that tactile feel back.
And a lot of that is the sound design because it had like dynamic music cues.
Exactly right. Like it had that crunch to it.
Glad you brought up music though, because
the music is really good.
It is the same composer.
Sound design is
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it is really good. I will give you that. But that's my. Not even so much the way it controls, but the way it feels. Like when I hit a mimic with a wrench, it doesn't feel like I'm hitting anything. I don't know. Like, does that make any sense? Like, it feels like I know I'm damaging the mimic, but there's not that weighty sense of, okay, I just smacked a freaking black ball of goo with my wrench. Like I don't feel it. I don't get it. And to me, as often as the mimics pop up, at least in those first 5 hours, if the combat in the game is unsatisfying, then I'm just and I can't stealth my way past, I'm just not gonna have a good time, and I wasn't having a good time. And
I did notice that. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead, man.
Well, I was gonna say I noticed that Gabe jumped in here, so I know he's been playing a lot of Prey.
Hey guys. First of all, hello. How are you guys?
Hello.
I wish I was playing Prey actually because I played it for about 3 hours. Then Brandon
played Battlegrounds.
Basically convinced me to buy Battlegrounds, and that's all I've been playing since then.
Yo, John, once you start playing if you can get into Battlegrounds, you'll put
no.
That's gonna be like every review on here from now on. Played it for
I have
one of those-
13
it's
hours
one
of
of those
Battlegrounds
games.
and yeah.
I think
And
that's
5
more
hours
than
of
me at this
Prey.
point already.
Last played it on Sunday. Since then, but from those 5 hours, I mean, this is the kind of game where you have to be really patient when it comes to combat. You have to take advantage of the tools you have, of the abilities you have. I haven't unlocked too many abilities. Actually, I haven't unlocked anything. I guess only some hacking skills, and I think
Gabe.
yeah.
Gabe, you just touched on something else. I don't like. I played for 5 hours, right? So I guess I've played about as long as you have. I have spoken to people who played for 10 or 15 hours, and they're like, I haven't unlocked shit. Like
what?
Like, it seems like the unlocking of abilities in this game comes at like a crawl. It seems like it's a drip feed.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's
What
like,
part of this?
you haven't seen anything yet, so like
Yeah.
it's like
5 hours.
I wish it kind of like moved along a little bit faster so that you could see how everything works well together without like having to like trudge through like trash mob mimic combat that you don't like, because it gets good.
Yeah.
Trust me. But if you don't like the combat, it's kind of hard to like trudge through. It's like if I didn't like the combat in Final Fantasy 15, like
You're crazy if you don't like the combat in Final Fantasy.
I do.
It's me, Joker.
John,
Final Fantasy 15's great.
Yes, it is. What was that? Who's calling?
what part of the station are you at right now? It's so hard to go by hours in this.
Yeah, no, you're right. So I spent a lot of time, like I said, poking around, and I am past the morgue. I can't tell you exactly what part of the station I'm in because I can't remember. But it's a part past the morgue. You got to find the guy's body.
Okay.
Bellamy.
Yeah.
Bellamy. You got to find Bellamy's body. And I'm past the morgue, and I fucked around a little bit.
Did you find?
I was like, I want to play something else. This just doesn't catch.
Did you find him?
Yeah, I found him.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I feel like some of the people who are not finding abilities super quickly, I feel like they're either going super slowly because I talked to people that they were like 4 hours in and they were still in the area near Morgan's office. I was like, that's insane because I passed through that within 2 hours. Like through psychotronics in 2 hours. And then like I guess you can take other paths. I don't know. I went through psychotronics and then through like to the guts. And right before the guts is when you find like you start getting mimic abilities. And I mean I would assume if it's as non-linear as they say, like there's probably a way to kind of screw yourself over by like going a way that you don't get the thing that gives you those abilities. I don't know. It just seems like such a like multi-layered game in terms of exploration and stuff that it's so hard to pin down like why people aren't getting certain things at certain times.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I'm you know what? I spent like $60 on it. I don't exactly want to trade it in just yet. I will probably get back to it and try it again. It's just that there are so many other games right now that are demanding my time, and I don't want to try to force my way through something that I'm not enjoying, because that'll just make me hate it more. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it aside for a while. And I've finished 2 other games this week, Little Nightmares and What Remains of Edith Finch, which are 2 absolutely incredible experiences that I definitely recommend everybody try, especially Edith Finch. I did that on JT's recommendation, and holy shit, that game.
Talked about that was that last week or 2 weeks?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
We have to do a spoiler cast, hands down.
Yeah, it's just one of those games that you just have to tell somebody to play and let them go. You like saying one thing about it could kind of ruin the experience almost.
Chris
30 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, PC Gamer posted about new Prey patch, fixed corrupt save files on PC.
Well, I guess maybe Dan Stapleton will have nothing to complain about now.
Yeah, maybe.
I still think that I'm not even a fan of the game, and I thought that review was stupid. That score was dumb.
Chris Ray, Patty, it's just kind of like, oh, it's happened to me, so fuck this game. 4 out of 10, don't buy it.
Chris Reyes in chat says, haven't read your review for Finch yet, John. Thinking of buying it, but it seems like a game would be on Flash Hill soon, and I have a backlog. I have heard it's one of your game of the year. Yes, it is absolutely. If I had to pick my game of the year right now, it would be near the top. And do yourself a favor, support Giant Sparrow. Don't wait for a flash sale. The game's only $20. Go out and buy it full price. It is worth every single dollar that you spend on it. As I said in my review, I have never this moves the. I don't like calling them walking simulators, but I don't know, story-driven games, I guess. This drives story-driven games forward. Yeah, this drives the entire genre forward in a way you cannot really explain unless you finished it. Maddie and JT, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
there's like so many surprising little mechanics in it, and there's so much obvious like love and care put into it that it's so much better than the walking simulators where like you just kind of, and I hate that term too because I love that kind of game, but like it's so much better than the ones where you just kind of like walk around and you just see things and move to the next trigger point. Well,
anytime, and you know, like, not to get too deep into it, but anytime, what I thought was genius was anytime you kind of in the game go over the memories of another family member, like the gameplay is always different. Like it's not, you're not just walking around in first person, like things change. There's these cool little gameplay surprises, especially in like one of the very last memories. You got, when things go top down, like I won't say anything else, but it's so cool and so unexpected. And I mean, I broke out. I mean, I had some tears going at the very end, and it is rare that a game does that to me.
What platforms is this game available on?
PlayStation 4 and PC. It's not available on Xbox, unfortunately, which I hate because it's going to limit the amount of people that can play it. But it is just an absolutely phenomenal experience. We're going to do a spoiler cast about it soon because I need to talk about what this game did to me on an emotional level. This game just fucking ruined me. And the other thing I wanted to mention was as Torpdeo is saying, greatest Julie and Chad, Torpdeo, maybe you can talk about this for a minute. Little Nightmares is fucking fantastic.
Yes, it is.
What a fucking gem of a game.
It's another one of those. It's not going to take you 50 hours to beat, but it's just
going to be like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be an experience that sticks with you. Though, it's a creepy game that just it oozes with atmosphere and charm. Your little character.
Six. Your name is Six.
Yes.
Come on,
But
call
I
it
don't-
by your proper name, Torpdeo. Jesus.
I'm trying not to give anything away because with these kind of games, it's the moments that I can talk about the chefs because they were shown in all of the.
They were pretty prominent in the chefs were fucking creepy.
Yes. Oh my god. But I just love the experience of getting through and figuring it out and dodging all the horrible deaths. It reminded me a little bit of Limbo.
It reminded
that
me a
regard.
whole lot of Limbo.
Cutesy game, but then the deaths come frequently and brutally. But
Except, well, one thing, man, two things. One, I feel like in Limbo the deaths were far more gruesome than they are in Little Nightmares, which was surprising to me given the subject matter of Little Nightmares. But two, the only thing I didn't really like about the game, and I said this in my review, was the fact that it's a 2D game on a 3D plane, which means if you don't line that jump up properly, or if you don't line that, like if you're being chased and you don't line that slide under the table just right, it'll lead to a lot of cheap deaths that feel incredibly unearned by whatever's chasing you.
So it kind of plays like Inside.
Big Planet
A
in
little
that
bit.
regard. Not to say the jumping was all floaty or anything, but the 2D jumping trying to be done on a 3D plane, that's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah, no, and I was not a fan of that.
It's weird considering that this game came from Bandai Namco, who are normally all about the anime weeaboo games.
Well, think about who developed it, though.
this little game.
It was Sumo and Tarsier who did Little Big Planet 3 and Little Big Planet Vita.
What?
And the jumping felt a little bit like a
Yep.
Little Big Planet game. Not quite as floaty, though.
Did they do 3? I thought that was Sumo.
It was a joint effort between Sumo and a bunch of people from Tarsier went over and worked with Sumo
Oh, okay.
to do Little Big Planet 3. But I don't want to get too deep into Little Nightmares. What I do want to talk about. Does anybody else want to say anything about Prey?
I think people should give it a chance.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying. I'm not saying it's a terrible game.
I'm not talking just about you. I'm talking about people who kind of share the same thing with you. Like, if you can get past the non-perfect combat and some gameplay nuances, the game itself, like the space station and the level design, is just so cool in my opinion, and worth experiencing.
Needs Souls combat. That's what it needs. Needs a little Dark Souls combat.
No.
So guys, let's switch gears and talk about a little. Well, we got Mass Effect.
Rest
we
in
got-
peace, Mass Effect.
And we got Square Enix selling IO.
And the biggest announcement of the week:
What is the biggest announcement of the week?
Vanquish is coming to PC. Thank
Oh
you,
shit!
Sega.
I almost forgot about that. All we need now is Vanquish on Switch.
I've been waiting for this for so long, by the way.
Well, people
Hashtag-
finally.
Vanquish is great.
Hashtag put Vanquish on Switch. I need it on Switch.
Oh yeah, that's
Vanquish
everything.
on everything. Yeah.
It'll never happen. That'd be fucking- Hey, you know what? I guarantee you Bayonetta's coming to Switch. And if Bayonetta can come to Switch, so can Vanquish. But what do you guys want? So we've got Mass Effect to talk about and IO to talk about. What do you guys want to hit first? Because they're both pretty big.
I'm sad about Mass Effect.
Okay, we'll talk about Mass Effect first. We'll talk about Mass Effect first. So I've got the this happened just a few days ago. But so here are the highlights of the story as written by Kotaku. Since the majority of BioWare Montreal staff has been moved over to EA Motive, who's making Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign and a new open-world IP. The rest of the remaining staff are working on the multiplayer content for Mass Effect Andromeda, along with supporting BioWare Edmonton's new IP, which I think is called Dylan. Some are also finishing updates to the single-player first. Mass Effect isn't officially dead, though this wouldn't be the first time an EA series went on hiatus and then never returned. And then it says, in the wake of BioWare's polarizing Mass Effect Andromeda, fans have wondered where the lauded sci-fi series will go next. The answer, according to people familiar with the studio, is nowhere, at least for the time being. BioWare has put Mass Effect on hiatus and turned Andromeda's developer, BioWare Montreal, into a support studio. And of course, a lot of people say, well, it's unlikely that BioWare will kill the popular sci-fi franchise. I'm not so sure about that, to be perfectly honest with you, but let's hear what you guys think, because this is a big deal. I don't think anybody could have seen this coming back when Mass Effect Andromeda was announced. And now here we are. So guys, I mean, especially guys like JT who have played and loved Andromeda, like, what do you guys think about this?
Well, honestly, I kind of did see it coming, but
Don't pick your nose.
it's sad. I'm scratching my nose.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
It's you.
There was no
Never mind.
pick. No pick.
It's sad because this is a franchise that I grew up with, loving. You know, the original trilogy, and I think a lot of the people here share that same sentiment, where you know, Shepard was kind of like the character to be, you know, kind of like Master Chief was, you know, Halo 2, Halo 3 days. I don't know. It's just Mass Effect is like, I read like the books and stuff. Like I got so into that world, and now to hear that it's just kind of like going to be put on the back burner or may not even continue.
I don't think it's coming back.
Sucks. But
I don't think
not-
it's back.
Coming back.
at the same time, I was talking to our good friend Shinobi Nate today, and
Yeah, we can call him by his real name now.
Yeah, right. So I was telling him, you know, like about the story, you know, in Andromeda, like it just didn't have like oomph to it. Like the whole Angara storyline and stuff. It's just like, I mean, I appreciate them for trying to branch out and talk about other species and like a new species, but it just didn't have the same weight as the original trilogy. And I think like that's just kind of like they didn't really know what to do, so they're just like, here it is, and I don't see where they could go. I haven't beat it yet, so maybe there's an ending that I'm not seeing, but I don't know where they would go from here, you know, aside from anything else. Like, would they stay in Andromeda? Would they try another galaxy? Like, it just seems like they've kind of run their course, as much as it pains me to say. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you. So, Torpdeo, was it you who said you don't think it's coming back, or you do think it's coming back? You do not think it's coming back. I agree.
EA has a laundry list of franchises that have been put on hiatus that we've never seen again, whether it's like Army of Two,
KOTOR.
Or Command and Conquer, or Dead Space, or I mean,
Oh God, it's still too soon for Dead Space.
Mercenaries.
Ooh.
Was Mercenaries EA? I don't remember.
College
not sure.
baseball.
I think it
That's
was,
College
yeah,
baseball.
The second one was EA.
Oh,
Yeah,
the second one. Okay.
Okay.
I love that
What was
game.
the first one?
They just they keep.
THQ?
I mean, also here, I just don't see it
Harry
coming
Potter
because
Quidditch World Cup.
they are very result oriented, and I don't think they're going to greenlight another 5-year multi-million-dollar project that doesn't have a return, and they're very receptive to negative press because they're EA.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, Andromeda was the victim of, I personally, an unfair negative anti-hype, I guess is how I would put it.
But was it really unfair though? I mean, the game, from what I heard,
I think it was very unfair. I mean, you had people looking for like impossible to replicate rare glitches and then signal boosting it to be like, look how silly and dumb this game is. Like, they put no polish in this. I have yet to come across any of those glitches. And that was before the patches. Now that the patches are out, look, as much as I enjoy Andromeda, and I am enjoying it the further I get into the story and it starts picking up and actually developing itself, I just don't think we're ever going to get a follow-up. It's going to be the Deus Ex Mankind Divided. We're just never going to see what happens.
it's really. I mean, like this is a big deal. Oh, I can hear myself.
It is.
We're getting some feedback from somebody. Okay, it's gone now. But no, I mean, it's fucking Mass Effect. Like, it's not like, you know, it's not some bullshit. I mean, this was their flagship franchise, and for them to just summarily brush it aside like this, put it on ice. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. What that, to me, that speaks more about sales than it does critical reception, because I mean, Destiny has a 76 meta when it launched, and it sold a fucking bazillion copies, and people continue to play it. So I think this is more indicative of poor sales than anything else.
It's both though, but it was the negative reception that hurt the sales overall. I mean,
there was no hype leading up to the game at all. You know, people.
that did strike me as odd. I mean, we didn't really see a whole lot of this, and we mentioned that on this podcast. We said
what we did see, people were picking apart, like the bad animation or the lacking animation, the animation that wasn't ready yet. That they clearly weren't ready to show. And I wish this game had been given till the fall to release, because we'd be looking at an entirely different mindset towards Mass Effect, because people just took those little nuance or little things that were kind of not quite ready and ran with them, just like Matt said. And it was completely unfair.
I haven't really played new Mass Effect. I played a little bit at my friend's house. I really like the combat in the game. I think the combat in the game's great. But I was really afraid after the last Dragon Age, it would just be a lot like the last Dragon Age. And I guess that's why I wasn't really hyped up for it. And I don't know. I know the reception for the last Dragon Age isn't really all that great now, since people sunk 100 hours into it.
I liked it.
Yeah. I don't know.
If I could say one more thing, the reason I think they made this announcement now is, it did fairly well in March's NPD, but now that we're in May, we don't have April's number yet, but you can bet EA does. So I bet Mass Effect does not chart for April.
It was already price dropping too, I think.
Yeah,
it's down to
$38.
30. Yeah.
So here's my thing, right? I have not played Andromeda. I was a huge fan of the original trilogy. I have not played Andromeda. I know that JT, you mentioned that it could have used more time in the oven. People in chat are saying the game should have been delayed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were in a situation much like Square Enix was with Final Fantasy 15, in which they are contractually obligated to have the game out by a certain date, which is why
I think it was for the fiscal year.
What's that?
That's why it had to be March. I think it had to be March
because they're legally contracted, or they're legally obligated to have this game out by a certain time. And as much as I love Final Fantasy 15, reminder, it was my game of the year last year. It wasn't perfect, and that's why they added those additional scenes in in chapter 13, and I guarantee you that's why you have episode Gladio and episode Prompto and episode Ignis, because those were supposed to be part of the actual game, and they just didn't have time. So I'm willing to bet, in fact I'm confident, 100% confident, that EA ran into a similar situation here. So two things. One, I would love to see a dev diary about the development, how this game went through, because I think there's a really interesting, fascinating story there. And two, how would you guys feel about EA following the Square Enix model of making improvements to the game over time? Do you think that's something that's viable, or would you? Is that not something you want?
I mean, single player games should be as close to done as possible today.
I feel like it's too late at this point.
It's too late.
Yeah.
So, Maddie, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
That game had its chance, I feel like, and I feel like the third pillar of why they probably did this is just brand damage. I feel like this has done so much to taint the Mass Effect brand, even after the whole debacle with 3, which I guess people don't really see as a big deal anymore. But I feel like after that and then this, it's just that's such a damaged brand that they're just kind of nope, we're done.
I guess that brings me to the real question for everybody else is, I know Maddie's answered it, and I agree with them. I'm sorry, not Maddie. Torpedo's answered it, and I agree. I don't think the franchise is coming back.
No,
I don't think it can come back from this.
Sadly, it's not going to.
That's what that tells me is that we're not even going to get. I mean, I don't think you're going to see any single player DLC for this game, because according to what we're reading, the entire team has been moved over to work on something else.
They're working on one more patch, and they're going to be done.
And that's it, right? So was there a season pass for this game? Because my brother swears there was, and I don't think he's right.
I don't think so.
I think there was a deluxe edition for $80.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Okay.
I'm more concerned because
right.
me and Torpedo, we played quite a bit of the multiplayer.
I'm still waiting to play more.
Yeah, and I love it. It highlights exactly what Andromeda was progressive in, was the combat.
Combat's great.
I've heard that like
combat
that's the
and
one thing I've heard
Andromeda.
from everybody, dude, is that like the combat's fucking actually the best combat the series has ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is,
gameplay
because you
wise,
have the jump cuts for
way-
vertical and horizontal movement. You have the ability to swap out your specs on the fly, so you're not locked in to one mode. You can change up your gameplay at any given moment by picking a different setup. And I mean, there was some things I didn't like as much, like the fact that you couldn't directly utilize your partner's abilities to set up your own chain attacks. But overall, the combat was way more refined, way more satisfying, and it's just a shame that the rest of the game couldn't capitalize on that.
Man, what an end of a fucking era this is. Because, and you know the crazy thing is, guys, is that I think if they were to release like a remastered Mass Effect trilogy, it would sell more than Andromeda by far.
Probably, yeah.
Definitely.
By far,
Yeah,
I
it
think
would have. It absolutely would have.
that's
Still, it's
Not, but they
bizarre.
wouldn't have sold it at $60.
yeah. I would. Here's the thing, I would buy it at $60.
I guess maybe they could, because they did the Uncharted trilogy for 60, right?
You know,
Good.
they say
yeah.
they say that they're not interested in doing remasters.
But they would have to put like a Blue Point amount of effort into it. To
Oh
sell it.
yes, absolutely. I mean, they
You
would.
guys-
Go ahead.
You guys think that if they did do remasters, Andromeda would have been accepted better in a different light?
I don't think so.
Or do you think it would have been like reminding people of the ending of 3 again? Like
That's
that
kinda what
whole fiasco.
I still want remasters of the trilogy. I would play the shit.
I would love remasters of the original trilogy, but to your point, JT, I think if they released those before Andromeda came out, it would have made the flaws of Andromeda stand up that much more to people. And I feel like this situation would have. I mean, not that it can get a whole lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sam's in chat. Sam, what's up, man?
Sam's in this?
Sam's up in the chat. I don't feel like the situation for BioWare could have gotten much worse with Andromeda, but I do feel like that simply would have exacerbated people's feelings. It's like, you know, how do you go from Mass Effect 2 to this? I feel like that would have been the attitude, you know. So I guess my final question on EA is where do they go from here? So Mass Effect is more or less dead, and even if it's not dead, it's not relevant for a good long while. What's their new flagship franchise? Is it Dragon Age? Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Games
like a Mass Effect reskin, but with just like Star Wars stuff.
I mean, don't they have like
Style
four?
games.
They have like 4 Star Wars games in active development right now, right? Like,
Yeah,
some
Something like
crazy
that,
shit.
yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's stupid.
like Star Wars is their flagship franchise right
Yeah,
now.
big time. That and Battlefield.
Like, like they have Tri-Brain games back, like Mirror's Edge last year came out and it bombed. They
I don't know
bombed Mass
why.
Effect this
I
year.
don't know why.
And
I don't
it
know
bombed.
fucking
Like
that, yeah.
like they're trying to bring back the original IPs. I think they're just kind of trying to do it. Be like, okay, we can kill these off now. Like the fans won't ask for these anymore.
So like so many like every now like I don't post a lot, but I still kind of lurk and gaff.
Mhm.
And somebody on there actually just today said, "Is this the end of BioWare as we know it?" I'm like, dude, get the fuck out. No, like,
no,
come on,
it's
like,
absolutely not.
Star Wars alone is going to sell more. It has sold more than Mass Effect ever has and ever will. So they're going to be just fine. But it would be and then we've got that new IP that's coming from the codename Dylan, which I don't really understand. It's supposed to be a challenger to Destiny, which I'm not sure that's a wise idea. Because I don't think there's any taking a piece of that pie, especially with Destiny 2 coming out this year. But we'll see. Apparently the game has been delayed so they can get it just right, and they fucking need to get it just right after Andromeda. I'll say that much. We'll move on to Twisting the Knife, and in fact, actually, this is something that Jesse mentioned in chat. He said I wouldn't have cared as much had the Hitman news not broken today.
Yeah, the Hitman news fucking sucks.
So speaking of hits, let's talk about what's going on with Hitman. And I got some of the details. You go ahead. No, dude, shout it out, man. Let's hear it.
Square's just idiotic. I feel like Square wants their Western games to fail. Like they have like these like crazy expectations. Like they did for Tomb Raider. Like, oh, this needs to sell 3 million like first week, or this is a bomb. Like I feel like they're setting these games up to fail, and like it sucks.
Well, it's like when Tomb Raider doesn't sell 15 million copies, they're disappointed in it. I'm like, I mean, so like I feel like part of this is Square Enix setting themselves some very unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, like
you said.
it pretty much is.
So here's what's actually happening, right? So I am no good. Like Jeff is the master of reading stuff and making it interesting, right? Like, I'll read just a little bit here. So this is the statement that Square Enix released, and it says, and you gotta love the you gotta love the language. Like nobody uses sterile corporate language like Square Enix. For all the fantastical JRPG worlds these guys are able to cook up, they have some of the most boring fucking statements ever. And it says the cause and nature of the extraordinary loss, which sounds like this. That sounds like the subtitle of a Tactics Ogre game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play that out. Tactics Ogre: The Cause and Nature of the Extraordinary Loss. That's a Tactics Ogre game. But to maximize player satisfaction, that's all I'm gonna think about now when I read this. To maximize player satisfaction, as well as market potential going forward, we are focusing our resources and energies on key franchises and studios, which probably means Final Fantasy. As a result, the company has regrettably decided to withdraw from the business of IO Interactive, a wholly owned subsidiary and a Danish corporation, as of March 31st, 2017. So this actually happened about a month ago. This decision has resulted in, has resulted in booking of the extraordinary loss amounting to 4,898 million yen, including disposition of the content production and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so long story short, they are selling IO Interactive, and the bitch of it is I believe Square Enix owns the IP. They own the Hitman IP, right?
Yeah, I think they.
I believe they do.
I don't think they can sell IO Interactive about Hitman because he wants a Kane and Lynch game.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. like if you sell IO Interactive, like you have to sell Hitman along with it, I think.
Put Duke in Kane and Lynch.
Put Duke in Hitman. Hashtag put Duke in Hitman.
Put Duke in everything.
I was going to make a joke there, but I'm not going to.
No. Don't do it.
Or we can get Mini Ninjas too.
Damn it, we lost Gabe. I was just about to ask my fucking question. Gabe, if you can hear us, get back in here. I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, so I just checked, and Square Enix does in fact own the Hitman IP. Okay. So I think this means, well, one, we've seen the end of fucking Hitman. Like,
we'll make mobile Hitman. We'll make more mobile Hitman games and shit.
Is it me, or is Square Enix the fucking kiss of death for so many franchises? Like, let's think about all the franchises that they've killed off, right? Like, Deus Ex is dead now. Hitman will probably never see the light of fucking day again. Thief,
rest in peace.
Thief is fucking done.
I thought they announced a new Thief today.
Yeah, from what I heard, it might be a mobile game.
Yeah, they're not going to make another AAA Thief game.
Yeah,
they're making Thief Go.
I heard Thief Go. Like
it is going to be Thief Go. Yeah.
It probably. In all seriousness, I actually was told today that it's worth like a mobile game, so that doesn't really count. So you've got they fucking goddamn near killed Tomb Raider. They almost put Noir on the fucking ground.
True, because it only sold 7 million.
No, they made you want to protect her.
Well, they did. And there are rumors going around that the next Tomb Raider is going to be episodic, which I'm fine with episodic games, but I'm not cool with an episodic Tomb Raider.
It worked with Hitman, but it doesn't work with Tomb Raider.
It doesn't. No, you're right. Well, it works. So it makes sense with a franchise like Hitman, right? Because you can. It's almost like you're going on different assignments. Like you're on assignment. Okay, Agent 47. Here's your next assignment, right?
Yeah, I mean, plus with Hitman, there's user created missions and whatnot. Like with Tomb Raider, you can't do that. Like it's just one.
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy about selling IO Interactive, and this is what I really don't understand. Maybe somebody smarter than me can help explain it. But they just posted record profits.
Did they really? I don't know anything about their operations.
This was one of their biggest years ever.
Yeah.
And in large part due to the success of Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 sold incredibly well, and they're rolling in fucking cash right now. So their sale of IO Interactive makes even less sense to me in that context. Like when I first, and I didn't know this when I first saw the news today, right? Like I got to work and I logged in and I looked at Twitter and I saw Square Enix sells IO Interactive, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, Square Enix must be in fucking trouble. But literally, hey, Cheap Boss Attack is in chat. What's up, man? Literally, the very next post I read was Square Enix posts record profits. So I was like, wait a minute, hold on. It's like, why? And did Hitman really did it sell that bad? I was under the
I think
impression
so.
that
I don't.
Hitman
It didn't
sold
sell
pretty
as well.
well.
It didn't sell as well as Absolution, but Square Enix also didn't market Hitman 2016 all that much.
smells like
You think the
fire.
model hurt it too?
I would
like
have
how it
thought the
came
model would have been great for it.
No, well, I know the models like hurting at first, and like episodes started coming out, people were like, "Oh, this is actually dope! Like these levels are like cool," and like.
Well, and the
No,
weird
I-
thing is, it's like it's not. JT, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna back up his point. It's like I've heard nothing but great things. Like I've bought it, but I haven't.
It's
But-
like Hitman 2016 is a great game. Like I've put about like 80 hours into it.
I mean, but Giant Bomb fucking loved it.
Yeah,
This
like
one
it's a fun ass game. It's just fun to go back and like learn the levels. Like each level is literally like a puzzle, and like, and it's just fun playing like user created missions. It's a great game, so I guess that's why I'm really upset about this.
And I hate to say it, but just like Mass Effect, I think honestly, even more so than Mass Effect, I don't think we're getting another Hitman game. I think that's dead. That's gone.
I also think the brand's not as strong as it could be. I mean, like that really shitty movie came out 2 years ago now. But it's Square Enix fault. Like they allow.
I remember the one with Timothy Oliphant from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, like there's been
Yeah.
2 Hitman movies and they both suck. Like if it's anything, like I mean, the first movie's not Square Enix's fault, but like it's
So here's
Yeah.
something interesting. Here's something interesting, guys. That our friend Sam Pilbert in chat says. And Sam's got some people who know stuff about this or stuff like this. He says the model actually started helping it. At least that's my understanding. Talking about the episodic model, brought dev costs down too.
Yeah, I totally
this-
believe that.
This whole thing just but again, Jesse, also our friend Jesse makes a really good point. He says a lot of people probably decided to wait for the physical release. By the time that came out, a good portion of them may have lost interest. Plus, it was already becoming obvious how great Q1 would be.
Good point.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
got lost in all of those great releases.
It's a good point, but at the same time, I mean, I don't. I guess I just don't get the. I don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any
I mean,
sense.
I don't know, like
Exactly.
Telltale does okay with their episodic releases. Like I think people are pretty open to it in general. Like
That's how I treat episodic games, though. I always wait for them to finish, and then I buy the collection. I've stopped trying to buy episodic games piecemeal. I'd rather just wait.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This is like it seems like it.
Didn't
Go ahead.
they already announce season 2 of Hitman too? Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
they
that's
did.
why. I thought they already announced season 2.
yeah. So what are they gonna do about that? They're gonna have to either announce that it's canceled or just
Well,
like I don't know.
like the episodic model allowed them to do so many cool fucking things, like the timed assassinations, right? Like I remember they had fucking Gary Busey. They were like fucking Gary Busey somewhere in fucking Sapenzia. Go fucking kill Gary Busey. He's only going to be there for like an hour, so you got an hour to go kill him. That was so fucking cool. Somebody in chat says, "Will somebody like Sony buy Hitman?" No. I mean, I just no, because I mean, Hitman, it's popular, it's fun, and like somebody like today, somebody on Twitter said, "Well, this is a benchmark. This is a tentpole franchise," and I'm like,
It's not.
I don't mean it's
Yeah,
not. I mean, it's,
Hitman's more for like a cult following game,
Yeah.
like franchise.
it's never.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's
never
one of those.
like gaming's biggest franchise. Like just because they made a
Yeah.
movie out of it. They made a movie out of
yeah.
They made a movie out of Dungeon Siege. Like I don't know. Like
They made a movie out of Max Payne.
yeah.
Back
Well, no,
They
that I
made,
mean, Max Payne's
Ratchet
big.
and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank
Max
is,
Payne's bigger than Hitman.
yeah.
Especially because
Ratchet and Clank,
Rockstar
absolutely.
has it. Anything that Rockstar has is big.
We actually had a really good question on Twitter,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to fucking find it. And like I was like, I'm gonna save this question, and now of course I can't.
Oh, was it
find the
about
goddamn thing.
a mid-console iteration?
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you, JT. You're the man. So we'll but before we answer that question, does anybody have anything more to say about the sale of IO other than the fact that it fucking sucks and it feels like? Go ahead.
Like the newest Mass Effect, I think the hype leading up to the newest Hitman wasn't the best. I feel like it probably affected sales as well, like the always online thing and whatnot, and it being defined to episodes and whatnot. I think the end game's really great. I actually bought it midway through the season, so I got to experience it, as the episodes were being released, months apart from each other. It's just upsetting. Like I've always loved the Hitman franchise, and it's just really upsetting.
I mean, it's a long-running franchise. It's been around.
really, yeah.
Yeah, like my best friend and I rented Blood Money in high school, and
Oh,
we
Blood
stayed up
Money
all
was
night.
so good.
We stayed up all night drinking Mountain Dew because that's what we did when we were in middle school or high school, whatever. And like we beat the whole game in one night. Like it was like I don't know. Like I just have a lot of memories of the game of the franchise just in general. So I guess
Is that one of the was Blood Money the one of the PS2 ones or 360?
It's the 360 PS2 one.
Oh, okay. It was
that's the one where Blood Money's the one where your first two targets were those like big obese Scottish guys, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say right now I've never played a single Hitman game ever. Honestly.
Oh, dude,
they're really funny actually. Like you won't think they're so comical, but it's just
there's a lot of black humor. There's a lot of black humor in the
it's great, but so I don't know what Square's doing with their whole Western front right now. It seems like they're trying to abandon it at this point. And
yeah, pretty much.
I see somebody. Oh, it's Dan in chat. Hashtag let JT host. That will never happen.
Yeah,
that will never fucking happen on this podcast.
I don't think it'll happen. Yeah, I don't think I would be a good host. I kind of like
be a fine host. I'm just not going to let it happen. I don't want anybody to be better. Jeff is already a better host than me. I don't need anybody else in this podcast being a better host.
Yeah, if we were gonna pick a different host, it would be Jeff.
Probably.
I mean, let's be real.
Because Jeff is a better host than I am.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back on the whole Square Enix Western thing. Like, I think they know since they're making like a Marvel game now, like they know that'll sell. So it does seem like be their only focus on the Western front.
Do you think they're gonna try and go the way of Konami?
Would you say that it's all quiet on the Western front?
Oh god.
That's the fucking. I'm sorry. All right, Z Huge temporarily took control of my body. I had to get him out of there. Anyway, continue, please. Or is that it? Are you done?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
yeah. Like I just think that Marvel. I think they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna do like Marvel games, and that's gonna be it. Like no more Tomb Raider, no more DSX. We want to, let's not ruin the Square Enix brand any further. Here's Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out 2022. I
agree. All right, so we did have a question on Twitter that I wanted to address, and of course I can't shout them out because I couldn't find the fucking question. So you know who you are. DM me tomorrow, and I'll give you credit for the question. Sorry about that. Dude asks, with the news that there's far more interest in buying the vanilla systems than there are either a PS4 Pro or the Xbox Scorpio. There's not a whole lot of consumer interest in buying these. There's plenty of consumer interest in buying the base consoles, but not the new and improved ones. So he was wondering, are iterative consoles a mistake?
I mean, we've discussed this in the past.
Yeah. So I don't want to.
Pro was announced. We talked about it, but
I don't think they were a mistake. I just don't think anybody needs to. I mean, if you go into this. If you go into these things expecting them to set the world on fire sales-wise, you're going to be very disappointed.
I mean, people are still going to buy. They're going to walk into Walmart and buy the cheapest.
Oh, sure.
That plays the game that they want to play. Like,
absolutely. Well, I mean, because these are, and we've said it before a billion times, these are enthusiast boxes.
Yeah, the people who have the fucking 4K TVs will buy it.
They'll buy them. I mean, I've got a 4K HDR TV, and I bought a PS4 Pro, but that's the only reason I bought one. And when the PS4 Pro sold, when it came out, because not everybody has a 4K TV, and when the Scorpio comes out, it'll sell, because not everybody has a 4K TV, and I think when it comes to the mass market, people are going to want to take those extra couple $100 they would spend on an iterative console and spend them on games. I know that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think they were a mistake, but I don't think you're going to see them again. I really don't. I think
that's what I was going to ask. Is like, do you think going forward, this because they're not selling, do you think we're going to see a shift back the other way?
Do I think yes. I don't think you're going to see, like, for example, I don't think you're going to see a PS5 Pro. I don't think you're going to see an Xbox Gemini or whatever fucking comes after Scorpio. Like, Xbox Taurus. I don't know. Maybe you guys feel differently, but I don't see that happening. I feel like this was solely to take advantage of the sudden I don't want to say boom of 4K, but 4K is becoming the adoption rate of 4K is progressing faster than I think these companies.
I mean, last gen it was 3D TVs. This gen it's 4K. They got
but 4K is the real deal. Like 3D
no,
is fucking
definitely. 4K is a bigger deal than 3D, obviously. Sure. I'm just saying, like they every few years, every generation, they have to come out with something new that sells their gimmick TV.
Mm-hmm. We've actually got a question.
Not that 4K is a gimmick, but whatever. They need to get new TVs.
I know what you're saying. We've actually got a question in chat from Trago. So when do you guys think the PS5, Xbox 2 will be released? PS5 is 2019, guaranteed.
Oh.
2019 or 2020.
Yeah, I'm aiming towards 2020 at this point.
Xbox 2 is probably a year after the PS5.
Yeah, you mean the 360?
What's that?
In the 360?
The
Xbox 360, 360.
The Xbox 720. In all seriousness, so Dan in chat says Scorpio is basically an Xbox 2. Sort of. I mean, it's still an Xbox One, and Microsoft is on that whole there's we're going beyond generations thing, but they're really not. I mean, there will be a follow up to the Xbox One, whatever the Scorpio is going to be, and it will not be called the Xbox One anything. So it'll be and I think you get that a year after the PS5. So like say the PS5 releases in 2020, I think the Xbox 2, for lack of a better term, like they fucking better not call it that.
They're not going to call it that.
They better not call it the fucking Xbox 2. That'll be a year after because that's the other thing, JT, with these iterative consoles is that like I feel like if the PS4 Pro wasn't a thing, you'd probably see the PS5 in 2019 for sure.
Yeah.
But you've got to space it out. Like if you were to release the PS5 and I don't think 2018 would have been out of the question if there was no PS4 Pro, because the 7th generation of consoles went on fucking 2 or 3 years way too long.
Mm-hmm.
It went on way too fucking long, and it almost irreparably damaged the industry. Luckily, consoles are thriving right now across the board. But I feel like if the PS4 Pro wasn't a thing, then there's a good chance you could have seen the PS5 in 2018 or at the very latest 2019, but you can't. But now you can't, because I know I would be pissed if at E3 Sony came out and said, "Hey guys, thanks for buying the PS4 Pro, PS5."
Yeah, basically.
I would be fucking furious.
I mean, what would they even offer with a PS5 right now? Like they wouldn't. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. It's not even a possibility.
Death Stranding launch title. I mean, and even then, if it launches in 2018, Death Stranding is probably not a launch title. So that's how I feel about that. I think we've hit all our topics tonight. We actually have we got some store credit to give away. $40 in store credit on the service of your choice. And before we started, or not before we started, I give people about maybe a 5 or 10 extra minutes to retweet. But I went in and I did a little thing on TweetDeck, and we do have a winner, and he is subscribed to the channel, and believe it or not, it's actually somebody that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm actually really glad that he won. Justin at RoboPlato.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
$40 in store credit to
Awesome.
whatever service you want, dude. I don't know if you're listening right now or not, but if he's not, I'll put it out on Twitter. So he won $40 in store credit to whatever service he wants, be it PS4, Xbox One, or Steam. So congratulations, Justin. I'll DM you whatever you want, whatever kind of. Hold on. Are you, Matt? What are you, Torpdeo? Are you lying down like in a sultry position?
I'm lying down though, but my computer just blue screen of death crashed on me.
Oh, okay. I was like, I looked over, like I was looking at Twitter, and all of a sudden I looked back over, and you're just like laying there, looking up at the screen like this, and I was like, oh, dude, don't look at me like that. It's weird. It's weird when you do that. Congratulations to Robo. I thought so. It was don't ever play with your taco meat like that again. Quit. No, stop, please. But you get me all excited. But guys, does anybody have anything else before we kind of sign off here? Although I do have a few announcements before we go off, but I want to give.
Just want to say, congrats again. We love you, Justin.
Congrats, man. I'm super glad that he won. I'm super glad that he won that. Real quick, I want to just make a few announcements. Our friend, for anybody who has not seen on Twitter, our old friend Mike Huber, who has been on the podcast twice, will be coming on probably either for our E3 broadcast, or he's not sure. He's not sure what they're doing for E3 this year. Probably not, because Easy Allies will probably do their own thing. But yeah, if not that week, then next week for sure. Mike Huber will join us once again for his third time on Deformed Gamescast. We always love having Mike on. Mike's a great guy. And I can also confirm that at some point in the next few weeks, still trying to nail down a time and a day, but Guerrilla Games will be on to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's insane.
So we're gonna have one of the devs from Guerrilla on the show to answer all your questions about Horizon Zero Dawn. So when we have a definite date for that, we will submit some questions from the people who watch us. Yes, Chris Reyes says no way. Yes way. Guerrilla Games.
Huber and Guerrilla
Games. We're going to be talking about some Horizon. Maybe even talk a little bit about the future of the franchise. Who knows? Talk about some of that DLC that we know is coming out. And Chief Austin says, congrats on snagging Gorilla for a future cast. Yeah, it's a pretty big get. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So please, as Square Enix would say, please look forward to that in the future. Please be excited for further updates. In the future.
Go buy and play Hitman 2 before Square Enix closes down the servers.
I am actually going to go, and that's actually not a bad idea. I might pick that up tonight, actually, because I still have not played.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
But yeah, so
What about Battlegrounds?
well, I'm obviously going to do Battlegrounds down here.
Battlegrounds.
But because everybody is real quick, I just want to point out, Torpdeo, like, I know you're not sad, but you have like the saddest face. I just want to give you a hug, man. Like, are you okay? Like, I know you are okay, but your face is so sad.
It kind of just depends if the computer turns back on, because that affects work.
You should
and everything. So
you should join us in the Discord chat when we're playing Battlegrounds after the show and listen to how much fun we're having and just stare at your computer screen. Like I did. That was my experience. That was the Battlegrounds experience I had a few days ago. Everybody's like, I'm literally listening to Gabe and Brandon and JT and everybody else having fun and laughing, and I'm sitting here like, God damn it! Like staring.
Yeah,
at
and then like pray music in the background.
Yeah, I gotta play pray. It was so depressing, but yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to in the future. And until next week, guys. As always, it's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So please be on the lookout in the future for Mike Huber and Guerrilla Games on SDGC with your boys right here. And we will see you guys later. Have a good weekend, everybody. Be good to each other.
See you guys on the flip side.
Yeah.